feel about the game? What was your takeaway from the game? Anything
Man,
surprised you?
that reminded me of a certain guy that's on TV that kind of does that long sigh before he starts. That's actually funny. I did that. If you know, you know. But man, it was a great game, man. Not only was it historic because it was two black quarterbacks starting for the first time ever, but it was just a naturally a great game, right from start to finish. Uh, Two high power offenses, allegedly going up against a high power defense in the Philadelphia Eagles, which you didn't really see on a team that led the league in sacks by a long shot. Uh, didn't get one sack the whole night. So just a game of will by two great quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal game besides the fumble, I believe, in the second quarter that I believe kind of opened the game up in favor for the Chiefs. But, you know, one could argue that they still were in an advantageous situation because they were up 10 at halftime. But as we all know, you know, Mr. Walk Down himself, you know, no league is too much. You know, no league is, you know, untouchable. It's not unattainable. It's not impossible when 15 is on the field. So, you know, I call them PM 15. You know, you take your Advil PM before you go to sleep, man, because it's over with. It's night. You know, he's by the surest thing in sports right now in the fourth quarter at the end of games, as we've seen at the quarterback position up until this point. So, you know, a great game. Um, but as they say, the kids, you know, no script talk. You know, tried to leak the script, you know, but you know, the Chiefs ended up pulling it out, man, 38-35. Great game.
Yeah, I like to
Oh yeah,
piggyback on what you said.
and I
Well, what's up?
and
Go
I
ahead, bro.
picked them, and I picked them in the beginning of the season. I just want to, you know,
That was the main thing, bro. That was
yeah,
the
that
enchilada.
was like literally the main thing, right? Like I
That's
picked
the
them in the
that was
beginning
the
of the
thesis of
season.
the monologue. I picked him
Yeah, that
before
was the
all
thesis.
y'all.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I picked them.
Yeah, man. It's like almost like I know like magic or something. Like I know the future or something. It's crazy, man. Spirit and
Well,
intuition, man.
sorry, not to cut you off, brother, but to piggyback off what you said, I think, and first I want to thank the pre-production team because this question was brought up pre-podcast. And the pre-production team is us, by the way. We're our own pre-production team. Cat's out the bag. But anyway, the question was, where was the key turning point in the game? And like Shahar said, that fumble was it. And you could tell that Jalen Hurts felt it. Even when he came back on the field and threw the touchdown the next drive. Like you can tell when he threw the touchdown, he ain't celebrated nothing. He was like, but yeah, for me, that's why I feel like the won or lost. I feel like that's where the game was lost by Philadelphia, but also won by Kansas City. And after that, everything else just kind of stayed balanced. Jalen Hurts stayed doing his thing. Patrick was going to do what he was going to do. And you can't have that to happen and Patrick have a fumble and his defense be on for real.
Unsung hero. To add on to what you're saying, a guy who easily could have won Super Bowl MVP had one of those fumble recoveries, been a touchdown, and that's linebacker number 32, Nick Bolton, who had
He
a
could have
hell
had
of a
two.
game. He could have had two touchdowns, two defensive touchdowns, two scooping scores. One of them got called back, which I think was hogwash,
Me too. Exactly.
complete BS. But
Should have got
you
two.
know, um, yeah, man. Shout out to Nick
Script.
Bone because they said the Chiefs' defense wouldn't be that much of a factor, and they really were. So, want to give him his flowers.
Before you go deep, I just wanted to point out that you identically predicted the score of the Super Bowl 38-35. However, you picked the Eagles to win.
Yes, that's true. In this case, man, I just feel like the I think it was the '70s Boston Celtics used to say, this was a game that just time won. I don't. I feel like props to the Chiefs for sure. But I feel like time won. I feel like had one more possession, one more opportunity, Philadelphia could have very well won that game. And I mean, it's not to take away from the Chiefs at all. It's just like that's how good the game was. That's how competitive it was. You know, despite the whole turnover fiasco with Jalen Hurts, man, like I want to give a lot of praise to Patrick Mahomes, and I still do because he did carry that offense. But it's like I still gotta highlight Jalen Hurts, man. Like, what a performance! 3 rushing touchdowns by the quarterback himself, taking things to his own hands. Multiple fourth down conversions. I mean, salute to Patrick, but don't forget about my boy Jalen, straight H-Town.
You know, it's funny. I'm glad you said that, Darnell, because what's funny is I really felt that same way. And I've been playing chess lately. And so sometimes when you're playing chess, all of the pieces are off the board and you come down to just the 2 kings, right?
The end game.
Right. So in chess, when those 2 pieces come down to each other, just the last 2 kings left on the board, there could be a stalemate, right? But in this game, you give a king a queen, and all you have is Jalen Hurts on the chessboard. I'm sorry, there's a checkmate somewhere in the area. You know what I mean? So that fumble to me was like giving Patrick Mahomes a queen on the chessboard when it's just 2 kings. You know what I mean? But Jalen Hurts definitely, you know what I'm saying? And the Eagles definitely brought a good game. It's just, you can't do that. You can't have a turnover against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. It can't happen.
I would say I disagree that the turning point was the fumble. I think the fumble by Jalen Hurts, it was kind of like a hindsight 2020. And though he did fumble, they still went into the half up 24-14, right? So it's just like, and like you said, he came back the very next drive and he scored. So he kind of, to a degree, made up for his mistake, right? You still get a 24-14 lead cushion going into the second half. Where I feel like, and I texted in a group chat, where I feel like the turning point of the game was where Jalen Hurts, when he really needed to score, so to speak, the Chiefs are down 24-14. They come out, they get the ball first, they go up the field, they score, and now they're down 21-14. Eagles get the ball, they don't score a touchdown, they kick a field goal, and now they're only up 27-21, which gives the Chiefs the ball back with a chance to take the lead. I texted in the group chat, I was like, I really feel like they needed a touchdown on this drive instead of settling for a field goal, because I feel like that added to the momentum and the fuel of the Kansas City Chiefs. And lo and behold, 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns. The Eagles settled for that field goal at 27-21 lead. Patrick Mahomes, they did what they did, came and took the lead at 28, took the lead and went up 28-27. And so something else that I've been paying attention to, I actually came across it recently, is that it looked like, you talk about respecting the game, sometimes not all aspects of the football game are like caught with like the naked eye live on camera in the course of the game. But with the Kadarius Toney punt return to the goal line, still early in the 4th quarter, it appears that like, yo, this is just a great play by Kadarius Toney. While yes, it is, but not a lot of people pointed this out, and I give credit to the podcast, the Raw Room or the War Room. I know his last name is Bates, linebacker with the Titans, but they were talking about the Eagles punter. He blew the coverage in the sense that he was supposed to punt the ball to the left, because as the special teams players, as the ball was snapped, all the pressure was shifting towards the left side of the field to like field it there or like contain whoever caught it, right? So the punter kicks the ball, but the ball goes right where Kadarius Toney is at. So all these Eagle players their positioning is going towards the left side of the field, the left pocket of the field, but then they have to look and like, oh, the ball actually went on the right side and Kadarius Toney already has it. So it kind of just throws off like your scheme of like containment in terms of punting. And so like they pointed that out specifically, which I appreciated because like the punter could be easily slipped under the rug. It's like whatever, it was a punt. Like you punt and you try to stop the person from getting a punt. But in respecting the game, there's field positioning and technique that you go about on a kickoff return or a punt return to make sure like you don't give up that much yardage, on a punt return to get the offense good field position. And so, and that happened right after the Chiefs took the lead. The Eagles didn't respond, and then they had to make that punt. Granted, this is still at this point, it's still at the 10-minute mark, still early in the fourth, but like those two sequences, like consecutively, I think put the Eagles in like a hole. And I felt like if they had to start to play from behind, I feel like they may have not been able to stand the test of times, which necessarily wasn't the case because they still tied the game, right? But Patrick Mahomes, and then you could talk about the penalty too on Juju Smith-Schuster. But yeah, I would say the Eagles not scoring that touchdown and settling for that field goal to open up the second half, I think fueled the momentum for the Chiefs to be able to like, all right, now it's time to play.